Also in the era of the 1930s under FDR's New Deal was the Social Security program. So the Social Security Act was implemented as a New Deal program to provide a basic guaranteed monthly income specifically for retired or for the elderly. So it would provide an income when they retired that would be guaranteed every month. Typically today, if you are somebody who are 65 or older, if you have worked in the private sector for a number of different quarters, if you will, or years, you'd be eligible to receive Social Security benefits. So you're guaranteed to get something when you retire or when you reach a certain age from the federal government. Now, whether or not the funds that pay for Social Security will actually last by the time you or I retire, who knows? But in FDR's New Deal era, the idea was he wanted to help people who may have worked all their lives and then lost everything. He wanted to provide a guaranteed income that can help people live, basically. So it would also set up a form of unemployment insurance. So if you lost your job but you had been paying taxes, you would actually receive money from the federal government as you're employed, and it also set up a system of aid for people with disabilities. So if you were disabled, physically or otherwise, you would be eligible under Social Security to receive a guaranteed income every month because you may physically or mentally be otherwise unable to work. So Social Security attempted to at least address people who are otherwise destitute, elderly, or may not have a substantial retirement income. Nowadays, you don't want to rely on Social Security to be your source of income. You want to have many different streams. Social Security should really just kind of be the cherry on top. Otherwise, though, it's a form of sustenance for people who otherwise lost everything back in the 1930s in the Depression era. So, it was initially intended to be for a small group of people, the elderly, the disabled, and the unemployed. Ultimately, Social Security as we know it today would be greatly expanded in the 1960s. We're going to talk about that in a few chapters under Lyndon Johnson's Great Society. Otherwise, though, Social Security was meant to be for a small group of folks. It was expanded. We'll see if it's sustainable for the long run. Also in this era, to help get people working and relief for the unemployed, the Works Progress Administration, the WPA, was enacted to get people working. And through the WPA, they would build or renovate over 100,000 different facilities, different buildings, building airports, miles of bridges, public buildings, all kinds of different things. And it kept over 2 million people working out of the doldrums of the unemployed. So it pumped money to the economy. The federal government realized that if it's going to spend money, it would be better suited to spend money putting people to work who are eventually going to pay back into the system rather than just subsidizing somebody's monthly income. So you're getting at least a return on that, and you're also having all these new facilities built, which you wanted to do in the first place anyway. So it's kind of a win-win if you ask the federal government with the WPA. So under the New Deal, you have Social Security, as we know it, and the WPA. And what Social Security eventually did was basically start what is today the modern welfare state. The federal government taking a personal interest in the welfare of certain segments of our society. This is what generally started it. Social Security under FDR's New Deal.